Hey guys, today's video is going to be relatively simple. So we're going to just kind of go over just some simple HiveOS settings that I find to be helpful that could also help you with managing your farm, and a couple considerations as to why you should use these settings and why I personally decided to use these settings as well. So we're just going to go to the farm here, and today we're pulling at 4.2 gigahash, and this is and actually less power consumption than I was at last week. My power consumption was up to about 10.5 kilowatts, and I've reduced that by almost 500 watts simply by scrapping all of the 1070 cards I had and swapping these guys in, which are the RX 6600s, which are efficiency kings. As you can see here, we're pulling between in software 53, actually between, oh my goodness, look at this one, 44 to 55 watts, and we're getting between, well, between 28.9 megahash. This is absolutely incredible. Like, I'm really happy with these results. Look at the watt usage on this. I mean, this isn't including the motherboard and everything, so we're at about 120 on top of that. So we're probably with discrepancies in the software, just over 500 watts on this rig of 6600s. But man, like, look at how good this is. 44 watts on this one. I mean, it's in software, I understand that, yeah, but like, everything's relative, right? 44 watts here in software and up to 55 watts. So like, some of these cards are just killing it, man. Could you imagine? Maybe it's related to the memory. Let's take a look here. So this is the only, well, this one and this one both have Hynix memory. So I mean, would it be much of a stretch to say that Hynix memory seems to be kind of like winning the memory lottery when it comes to these 6600s? That's awesome, man. Like, I don't know, when you buy a 6600, if there's any way to see, hey, I want the Hynix memory, because look at that. Same settings across the board, and we are at 28.9 megahash on that card. Great. So let's talk a little bit about the settings that I like to use personally. So the first setting is the Hashrate WatchDog. Now, if you guys don't use the Hashrate WatchDog, I definitely would recommend taking a look into it, because what this simply will do is it will actually monitor your hash rate, and you can do it by algorithm, or even by, let's take this one out. We're not doing that algorithm right now, so we're doing this ET hash. So we'll just do ET hash, and basically I have it set to, let's say, so 150 megahash per second. So basically what this setting is going to do is it's going to monitor your hash rate, and once the hash rate drops below a certain number, and this could be due to multiple reasons, the main reason being one of your cards just simply crashes. The other reason it could be is due to temperature fluctuations in which your card begins to thermal throttle. So I like to set this at a certain level where it would be almost a result, the hash rate drop would be the result of a card failure or a card crashing, not so much variances in thermal throttling due to external factors like temperature. So if I set this to 150 megahash per second, what it's going to do is as soon as it starts detecting that low hash rate for at least 3 minutes, it will automatically restart the rig and bring the entire rig back online and hopefully fire that card back up. I got a couple rigs that restart often. These 6600 rigs don't do it often at all. These are really stable rigs. Even when it's really, really hot in a room, these cards just keep on going, which is another huge reason I got rid of some of those other cards, and why I don't like the higher end 3090s and 3080s. As great and as powerful as each card is on its own, mining in a farm is a team effort where each GPU is a team player and everyone works together to achieve that high hash rate, right? As opposed to one card being responsible for so much hash rate, but also like taking on the load of all that heat and wattage and being unstable at the same time, right? So here we go. Hashrate WatchDog. So that's one thing. Make sure you get that Hashrate WatchDog on, but make sure you set it at a decent level that okay, well, this is indicative of multiple card failures or at least one failure. I could probably move this up to, I'm probably move that up to 160. So if it drops below 160, it'll restart the entire rig. And let me just show you again real quickly how you can actually do this in different ways. You can actually set it based on miner as well. So you can, if you have multiple miners in your flight sheet, you can actually set a watchdog mode on for a miner base or for algorithm base. I like to use algorithm base because I don't really care about the miner specifically, but it might be important if you're using 2 miners in a single flight sheet. So that being said, the next thing that you can do is take a look at the auto fan settings. So auto fan is a great way to ensure that your cards are kept cool, but you don't overwork the fans. So if you take a look here at my overclock settings, I actually have the fans at 50%. That being said, if you take a look over here, the fans are actually running at 40%. Okay, so let's say I didn't have the auto fan on and it was basically at 100 all the time. That's going to make sure that your cards are kept cool, but what it's going to do is it's going to cause those fans to have their life decrease just a little bit at the tail end of their life, just because they are running all the time on full speed. It ensures maximum cooling, but what happens if it cools down? You have a cooler day and you don't need all that extra cooling. Okay, but you don't want to go in manually and have to change things, right? We want this to be as passive as possible, right? So mining should be, in its purest form, a passive source of income, which means that although you might not be able to eliminate rig maintenance completely, and what you can do is eliminate having to do actually function as a babysitter and have to constantly go in here and change things manually. And one of these great things are the Hashrate WatchDog as well as the auto fan settings. So if you go to auto fan settings, I always leave this on. I set target core temperature to 55 or 60. Memory temps are also in consideration on here, and then I would just basically set these as a range that it can go, so that it won't go below 25, never. It'll always be at least 25, and the maximum will go to 100. And I always put reboot on errors on, so if there's any fan errors where the fan can't be detected, there's some issues there's some occurrences where that can happen, where your fan doesn't report the percentage or the speed back to the software. I have that reboot as well, and I just always turn the auto fan on. It's just a great way. So like right now, this one's running at 40% because it's so cool in there. It's super cool. It doesn't need to actually run on full power. And right now in the mining room, we are at, if you take a look at this is my trusty little thermometer, my wireless thermometer I got. These are great. I'm going to put a link to this below. But what I have is this little unit here has 3 different settings on it. So this setting right here on the first column is the temperature where the cold air first enters my basement. I actually have the door open, and this is kind of the entranceway where the bulk of the cold air comes from upstairs. And this here middle section here is actually the in the middle of the rig, so kind of on the floor, and this is at the top, so at the back. So basically I have the fans blowing the air this way, so it will always be cooler on this side and always be hotter on this side. But today we're running at a cool 34 degrees, which actually is a really good temperature range. When I see that temperature start going up, and I don't need to go downstairs and check each thermometer, I hated that. So I got this wireless unit that you can just put anywhere in your house, carry it around, you put it in your bedroom at night, you can wake up in the morning and see what's the temperature and how do the rigs perform based off the temperature. And that being said, you can go and based off the season and the ebbs and flows of the outdoor climate and temperature, you can actually adjust the overclocks so that your cards don't continue to crash and you get the optimal hash rate according to the temperature. So I recommend getting one of these off eBay. I'll send the link, put the link below. Not affiliated with them at all. I don't make any money when you buy one. So go ahead and get one. So what I would say here is Hashrate WatchDog and AutoFan are absolute must-haves. Great tool. Another tool that I like to use is a worker options, maintenance mode, basically. I know I said workers options. So in the workers options screen, you have a couple of options here. So when I'm first putting together a rig, I always turn on with loading drivers and maintenance mode. So what that'll do is when the rig turns on, it won't start mining right away. So it'll try to apply the overclocks, and it'll give you a chance to actually set the overclocks and manually start the flight sheets. Okay, when that's disabled, it'll automatically try to fire up the flight sheet as soon as it fires on. Another good option here is this one right here. So this power cycle. So this power cycle is the same. So if you go here, power, shut down and boot in 30 seconds, that'll shut the rig down, but it'll set a timer for 30 seconds before it fires back up. What that does is it gives the systems times to power down a bit for the fans to cool off just a little bit and power to be pulled or actually depleted from all the capacitors in the system and everything, so that when they fire back up, you have a kind of more of a clean slate. It works a good portion of the time, maybe not always. Sometimes you have to manually go down there and turn the rig off and on, but for the most part, that's good. But basically, this worker option here for power cycle will actually turn this setting on all the time. So whenever you reboot it, regardless of an automatic reboot due to the Hashrate WatchDog, it will boot, it'll shut down, it'll wait to 30 seconds, and it'll fire back up. Another good setting that you could use, that I like to use also, is this minor delay here. You can put in the number of seconds before it fires up. So let's say you want the overclocks to be applied and you want to wait maybe like 30 seconds and then fire the miner up. This could be good for troubleshooting, or if you notice that you're having issues with cards which don't take well to the overclocks very quickly, and starting and mining on them right away causes it to just crash. You could also work with those settings as well. So anyways, guys, that's it. Just a real quick video on what the settings I like to use. Let me know what settings you like to use. Maybe there's something I missed that I'd love to use as well. Please share, like, and subscribe to the channel, and comment below. If there's anything, comment below. I'd love to hear about what your strategies are for making sure your farm runs as smoothly as possible. Like, let's make this like an automated beast that just runs, mining coins, making you money while you're sleeping, while you're having a nap, while you're watching TV, while you're hanging out with your loved ones and your family. It's just going along, doing it, and you don't have to worry about it. This is even more important if you have a remote farm, if you have like a shed or some off-site location. You don't want to have to be doing this all the time. One more trick I'll throw in there is get a smart Wi-Fi enabled smart power plug. You can actually use these to turn your rigs on or off when they're running on 120 volt. And a lot of the PDUs actually have remote capability to fire off and on as well. I haven't figured out how to do yet on mine, on my APC one, but you can actually do that as well. So remote powering down and on and off are incredible, in conjunction with these fans and making sure that thing's built like an automated factory, like a Skynet factory that's just pumping out hash rate like that automatically. Anyways, guys, thanks a lot, and don't forget to comment, like, and smash that subscribe and like button, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.